Miriam, you got muted.
Okay. You guys are a Google Classroom, is that correct?
Sorry, what was that?
You
Yes.
guys are a Google Classroom
Oh,
school.
yes, yes,
Oh, district, actually.
yes.
Okay, so that's really easy to add your Google Classroom. All you have to do is, and let me just sign out from this account and show you another account where I have a Google Classroom. And
Yeah, we do have some people that are using Canvas as well.
okay. Um, so I'm going to show both ways then. Um, and um, and like I said, when you click on the plus button, you have the options of create class. And here, when you log in with your Google credentials, the system detects that, and then it brings up this blue button that says import Google Classroom. And then all you have to do is just this, because I have only one class, it just lists one of my classes, that one. But you guys probably have more than one, so it's going to list all of them. And here, you just click on it, and you actually can go down to a student level. And the reason we did this, because in many places, teachers want to just import their gifted students or something like that. So we actually decided to have them also to be able to see that all students are present. And if you are going to import everything, you just click on the select all, and then you just do an import. And when you do that, then on the top, immediately underneath my classes, you have the Miriam class there or something like that. And then let me show you what's happening inside the class. So let me just go back, because there it's easier to show you there. Okay, so let's say that I have this science class here. And so what I have inside the classroom is, first of all, I have the projects menu. In the projects menu, all the projects that students are working on are going to be listed. And when you look at the project tiles, you see that there are names, and this is what distinguishes between the projects. So when students are logging in, they are coming, they see their project, they click on their project tile and start working. You are part of every project that's here. So you will see everything done by these students. The other way of creating a class is you click on the create class here. And this time you are just you're typing in the name of the class subject, the grade level, and then you press submit. And that is without Google Classroom. So both ways are available for you. In the case that you don't have a Google Classroom, what you need to do, and let me take you there, is when we go to members, you will see all your students, and you will also see co-teachers. So you can co-teach the class. Now, how do you, in case that you are not importing your students, how do you add your students? You have a class code on the top. All you have to do is, after they sign up, the students sign up, you have to provide them with this class code. Then the students, when they log in, they go to the plus button here, they go join class, and they type in that class code. The same for teachers who are going to, the same case for teachers who are going to join who are going to co-teach with you the class. Let me just now let me show you the whole process, how the whole thing works. Let's say that you want to start a project, and you decide to use one of the projects in the catalog. And so let's say that I want to use the design an innovative product or process to promote healthy living. So I'm going to clone it. And once I clone it, it creates a copy for me from the catalog to my drafts. And it opens it up for me. So just so that you can see this project, let me go and show you what happened. And so what happened, once you clone something, in my drafts, it puts it next to your plus button, immediately next to the plus button. That's your project. This is the one that you can go into and now change it. If you want to change anything inside now is changed. You can edit everything. You can edit the questions, anything that, you know, everything is editable now. And then once you decide, okay, this is the project that I would like to my students to do, you then go here to the panel, to the right panel, and you click on Assign to Class. And you click on Assign to Class, and then it lists for you all your classes here. I'm going to select health because this is a subject, a health subject. And as I told you before, there are two ways to set up the teams. One of them is that you are setting up the teams yourself. The other one is that your students, you will delegate and your students will do it. When you click on Create Teams, then it gives you a list of your students in that class. And then all you have to do really is just kind of check mark who is working with whom. And each time add teams until you finish all your students. Once you do that, you go to Finish and Assign. And what it's doing, it now created for you 4 projects with different student teams. And these are the projects ready for your students to log in and come find their project and start working. The other way, let's say that I am in my drafts, or actually in the catalog, and I'm going to take another health project, maybe this one, and clone it. And this time though, I'm going to, when it opens it up for me, I'm going to go to Assign to Class. But this time I'm going to select, again, the health class, but this time I'm going to go Skip Teams and Assign. In this case, you are delegating. So what happened here, the project is not here. It's not in project because it is in assignments. And it puts it on the top. And when your students are coming in, they will decide or you will decide who's going to be the team leader. And that team leader will come in and will press the start button. And that team leader is going to be informed that only the team leader can do this. And they will confirm. And then they will get the list of their classmates. And they will decide who's going to work with them. So each of the team leaders will have to do this and then just confirm it. And now, this is the project that they created, but just so you see what happened, if I go to the health class now, then I see the project is here and I have the name of the student here with showing up. So that's what happened. So that those are the 2 ways to do that. Let me take you inside the project like this. So I'm going to just go to any of these projects. And like I said, these are tabs, these are processes. And as I said before, these are all scaffolding. And we start, this project is students are supposed to design an innovative product or process for healthy living and to promote healthy living. So basically here they are listening to a video, and yes, we support videos. So all they have to do is double click and start playing these videos from YouTube. We support YouTube videos. What you see here is we have different types of tools, and the tools that you see here is the question tool. So maybe we should start from the text tool. So the text tool here, this is the text tool, and the text tool is immediately the second tool here. And when you click inside any text tool, you get all these editing tools. It's really easy. It's click to edit. You have everything here. It's self-explanatory. We also have the question tool, which is the third tool here. And the questions tool is basically, it has a label that kind of tells you what to expect above. And so to create a question, there are several ways. One of them, just click on the question and it creates for you an empty question here that you can then use. Again, click to edit to type up your question. Nothing in Project Pause is deleted permanently, and it doesn't have the delete word in it. It has archive in purpose, because anything that you create in Project Pause is archived. And anything you delete. But everything you create also in Project Pause is stored in the content library. This is our content library. Any piece of any asset that the students or you are creating are going to be stored here. So in the beginning, anything that's recent will show up, and it will also show you what type of asset was added, whether it's text or question or whatever. And the reason everything is stored in the content library is because you can repurpose information. So if students are creating, for example, another tab here, and they want to use the information that they already created in order to make, let's say, a compare and contrast or anything that they have already done, they don't need to retype it. They can use everything they have already written here to actually go and create another tab and do a compare and contrast or do anything else that they need to do. And that's why anything that's here, you can copy to the workspace. So there, if you need to reuse this, I'm just, drop this here. If you need to reuse something like this in another tab or another place or anything, you can do that. And again, like I said, you can archive it. Now, you can restore, again, the reason we are archiving everything, and it's under the content library, when you switch to show archived here on the top, the reason we can archive everything is because we want to avoid the situation where either students inadvertently or in purpose sometimes are deleting their own or other students' work. And so by archiving, it can always be restored. So that question that I archived is here back. I just was able to restore it. We also have media, and any media, the video that you saw here displayed is all part of this media. And you can include the following types of media: images, videos, MP3 files, any PDFs, any G Suite files, any Office 365, and also web pages. Everything can be stored here. Their names can be changed, and you can then, let's say that you want to drop this image on the workspace, just click on place on workspace, and the image is here. And now if you want to resize it or do anything with it, it's really easy. And that's it.
Miriam, a couple questions that came up. So one, when you were on the dashboard, they were asking, so students would only see their own projects on that page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can the projects be printed so that if they needed to distribute them in print, is there any printing option? Oh, you're muted again.
So we don't have that option yet of printing, because the whole essence of a project, I mean, this is a dynamic platform, and that's the reason. But we are working on definitely creating a PDF of every single page. When students need to do a presentation of what they did, then we have presentation mode. So everything turns into this big presentation, and students can talk about it and move from page to page and explain exactly what they did, including demo videos or GIFs or anything that is part of their workspace. So, right now we don't have it, but again, if it we can move it much higher on our dev queue if it's something that you absolutely need to have. So that's not going to be a problem.
And then there's a question: how much workspace do students have to publish?
What do you mean? How much workspace? That's oh,
Um,
they can move on as much as they need here.
Infinite. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there was a question, will we have like full access when we're piloting this? Will we have like the full version, I guess?
Yes, you have a full version.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, and then the last question that I saw was if we could get access to the slides that you were showing earlier. I know we have it like in a video form already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you mean access to the slides? I'm recording this, so you can
Okay.
you can have access to the recording.
Well, that'd be great too. I think it was the slides that you opened with.
Oh yeah, I can give you access to that. Absolutely.
Okay, but the recording's awesome too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to give you the recording, and another thing that I can give you that usually, I mean, teachers after a training of 1 hour don't want to go through a 1 hour training to just find one thing. So
Right.
what we have is short videos. We have a whole channel of videos in YouTube, short videos that show you, oh, how to add your classroom, or how to use the media tool, or how to use the text tool. I mean, so we broke it down like that. So you don't have to, you know, if you need to just know one thing, you can do that.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. I don't know how much time we still have. We still have 15 minutes, so that's great. So basically, like I said, so the text tool I already showed you, the media tool I showed you. Media, let me just go back. It's really easy to add media. You just click on the plus button on the top here. Let's say that I'm looking for, in Google, I'm looking for health, something in health, and I'm going to go to images, and I'm just going to pick one image here, maybe this one. And now I'm going to right click on it and copy image address and shift back to project files. And now where it says insert URL, I'm going to paste that. And there is the image that I just added. I can now click on it and place it on the workspace. And like I said before, I can resize it, do anything with it. So that's the way to add media. And of course, you can add videos there. You can, like I said, all these things can be added. That's the media. Questions tool, like I showed you before. And like I said, we are very great believers in computational thinking, especially people who are working in science, but not just science. So there are two tools, in addition to the fact that we are breaking down the projects into phases like that, which is one of the concept, the basic concept of computational thinking. We also have two tools that are actually addressing computational thinking. And one of them is the component tool, and the other one is the events tool. So let me just show you a project that's already finished, because that's going to be much more meaningful for you to understand. And so this project, students' mission was to design a transport system such as the one that Amazon is using in its fulfillment centers, the Kiva robot. But the whole process had to be done in a way that first they have to understand simple machines and the physics behind simple machines. Then they have to understand how the fulfillment centers in Amazon work. And finally, they can then use one of their robotics, whatever they are using, Lego Mindstorms or any other method of robotics, to build that transport system. And so what you see here reflects that. And so it starts with what the physics behind simple machines, and components are actually the main parts of a problem. So when you are trying to solve a problem, you are identifying what are the main parts that are absolutely necessary for you to understand in order for you to solve that problem. And so since we are dealing here with simple machines, we of course need to understand the physics behind it. So the students are creating components for each of those, for force, for motion, for energy. Then they go and do research about it, and they are going, and these branches are the characteristics. They will describe the characteristics of force as it relates to simple machines, and they will describe it in very short sentences. The big advantage for this method is that by typing it in very short sentences, they are improving their comprehension, and also they will remember it easier. In addition to that, this is an amazing collaboration tool because other team members can come and see these sentences and weigh in. Versus if they wrote a whole essay about force, that would be a little bit more tedious for other team members to kind of weigh in. But this way they can go through it and see whether they need to add something to it, or whether they can, discuss it with the person who did it and so on. So it's really a very powerful collaboration tool. So here, going on from here, is the simple machines itself. And like I said, we are supporting a lot. We are supporting GIFs. And then moving from here, we are moving on to the fulfillment, to describing how the fulfillment centers in Amazon are working. The second computational thinking tool is the events tool. So if the components tool are the main parts of the problem and their characteristics, the events tool is a description of processes. So in this case, the process here that they need to describe is how the Amazon Fulfillment Center works. So this is the how-to. So in this case, we have steps. Instead of characteristics, we have steps. And this is a very, very powerful tool. The reason is that this can also serve projects in social studies, for example, where you are creating a timeline. You can add dates here, and you can also add locations. You can put it on a map in Google Maps. There's also different views. So this is the default view when you show the steps and small images, but you can also shift to gallery mode, where you see the images big and the text underneath small. And we can also add here videos. If you, so we are working on it. It's not finished yet, but we are working on the ability to add videos here. So the power of it is that, let's say that they are building the robot and they want to record every step of their building, they can do that. And so now you can move on between these and, kind of show the class what you did and so on. Finally, like I said, you can also map it on a Google map. In this case, mapping doesn't have too much meaning. But like I said, if there's meaning for mapping, then you can click on it and it shows you each step of the process on the map, exactly how it happened and what happened there. So that's more or less, these are the, here they already start building their robot and using, again, the components and everything for describing all the parts they need, how they will build it, and so on. Here, there's a step-by-step description of the entire process using the events tool, and also using another tool that we have, that is the annotation tool. And annotation tools, usually I like to use for when you have a big image and you kind of want to zoom into some phenomena in that image, and you want to show, for example, you have a big image of the heart and you want to show how a chamber works. You would put an annotation on top of that chamber, and then when you open it up, you can put in here an image, and you can put text and a title, and you can even put a video instead of an image. So that shows exactly, oh, this is how that chamber works on the heart and so on. In this case, I just, the process of building this robot was described in the events tool using the gallery mode here. So you can basically just show, what each step looked like, or you can use the step-by-step, using the annotation tool. So both are available. I talked a lot, so I would like to open it up to more questions if there are more questions. Okay.
Yeah, no more in the chat right now, but if anybody wants to unmute if they have any.
So let me just, if that's the case, then let me just go to a few more tools that I did not include yet. Let me go to here. Oh, sorry. Maybe I'll just clone one of them from the templates here. Yeah. No, I need the one top like this. Okay. Let's say that I want the IDA template. I'm going to clone this. Okay, so far I explained all the tools from the content library, the text tool, the media, the question tool, the components, the events tool, and here we have the analysis styles. So the same way that we have questions, we also have something that's called analysis styles. And what that does is it gives a label that kind of frames what is it the information that you expect to get. So in this case, you expect to get a description of a problem. So, and you can create, like I said, when I click here, then you can create, the default are problem, solution, and evidence. But you can create any type of, let's say that I want here to create an effect, one that says effect. And here I'm going to say replace this with the effect of this problem. And then I'm creating this and I'm adding an effect one. So, and now I can use the relationship tool and connect solution to the effect and so on. So so like I said, kids usually love these tools very much because it really focuses their attention on what exactly is expected of them. So this is very powerful. Also the visual aspect of it, that they can see that these problems are, that these are the solutions that can solve these problems. And that's the effect that can come out of it and so on. Like I said, I already described the annotation tool. So basically on the bottom, of course, you can click on the arrow, and when you click on the arrow, you can move multiple objects together at the same time. Representation tool I already showed you. You can zoom into the workspace and then zoom out of the workspace and reset the zoom. You as a teacher can also, let me just show you how you can communicate with me. So if you have any questions or anything, so if I'm going into a project here, I have a little blue button here with a disk here. And when I click on it, it opens it up. And here I can send, you can send us a message. So you can type in here, you know, I need help. And then I'm getting a message that you actually need help here. And I will respond to you. You can also use keywords here to look up any articles in our support system. So let's say that classroom. It gives you all the articles that have to do with how to create a class with a Google Classroom, so on. So that's that. And like I said, also we have the YouTube videos that you can also use in order to be helped. So that's about it. This is Project Pause. Of course, I did not mention that in the media, you can add any media like Google Documents or anything like that. We are not competing with Google. We believe that Google does spreadsheets, and whatever it does much better than we do. So if you need a spreadsheet in something like this and you need to add it there, then you can of course upload it by using its link. It's Google. It's the shareable link, and put it in the media here, and then just drop its icon on the workspace. And when you double click on that icon, it opens up the file in a separate file. So So that's about it. This is Project Pulse. Now, what I'm going to do is I will create, after this session, I'm going to create the account for the district and share it with Jay, share with you the sign up and sign in links. And you will provide the sign up links for, I mean, you provide this email to the teachers and they will be able to start working. In case that, and I know that this was a very rushed training, a 1 hour rush training. And I believe that in order to feel much more comfortable using this, probably teachers need more time to do that. And I would be very happy to schedule either another hour of training for whoever needs it, or one-on-one with less teachers, whichever one you choose, I would be happy to do.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe once people get their accounts, they can sort of play around in there, and then we'll probably have new questions. We have that session repeat of this scheduled for next week, so maybe we could schedule something again for after that as a follow-up.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you. Any other questions from folks? All right.
The language, you asked me about the language. Let me show you that. So let me just sign out of this. We still have a few minutes for that. So if you're a Spanish teacher and you want to have this in another language, we can switch to here Spanish. And everything is in Spanish now. So so yes, so we can do that too. But you guys need to tell me if you want this, because if you do, then we don't have yet the training inside the project. So inside it's still in English. If you need this, so we have here in the dashboard, everything is already translated. It translates it. In order to translate the project itself, we actually need to do another process in our development. So if there is a need for that, please let me know and I will let our development team know, and it's not going to be a big deal to do that.
No, I think that's good for our language teachers, and then they could put the content in whatever language.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay.
And Sunny, our math coach, was commenting to math teachers. I know I saw there's like a the math of coronavirus or something project in there. I think that might be a cool one. Be a very relevant.
Miriam, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted again. Yeah, this would be a very relevant and probably engaging project for students.
Yeah, so they start with all kinds of types of graphs here. They learn about it and describe them, and then they go into the data in here. And when they go into the data, then we also have websites. So basically, this is based on real data. So this is not relevant right now, but if you want to go to the relevant, you just click on it and it opens up in a new tab so you can get the information updated exactly from that website. And then they have a lot of questions, and we are using these analysis styles to basically have them answer the questions. So all kinds of question related. One of the most difficult task that students have usually is to interpret graphs and charts. And so this is really, all these questions are very helpful in doing that. So, here they are moving on to the infection rates, again, all relating to real graphs that they can go to by clicking here. Like I said before, you can include here all types of Google documents. So there's the data is also showing up in this document, in this Google document. So the same information also shows up here. And then moving on to the death rates, testing rates, categories, so on. Finally, there is an analysis where here students are actually going to kind of try to come to just general conclusions, you know, like, for example, how to do, you know, basically the regional differences, if they have an effect, speed of reaction, whether all these things, whether they think based on all the information they already gathered and learned, whether these are actually factors in how, whether if people are going to get sick or not. So that's this project.
I know we have several science teachers in here too. I don't know if there's a science one that you.
There are many science projects, let me tell you. We have, like I showed before, innovative product to promote healthy living. The transportation of the future, which I'm going to add very soon, is going to have magnetics. They are basically designing a transport system. And by the way, I'm basing my lesson plans on NASTA, on National Science Teacher Association. So this is also based on that. And here they basically have to design a train. And first they have to decide on what destination this train is going to go to, mapping, and then kind of design a maglev system train. So yeah, there's a lot of science here.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Well, I see people getting ideas already now, so that's exciting. They probably want to get in and start playing around and clicking around. Oh, you're muted again.
When I switch between this and this, it always mutes me out. I don't know why. Anyway, so immediately after I finish here, I'm gonna send you that email address with all the information and with the account.
Okay.
And then you guys can start. And that's that. And then if you guys have questions, like I said, I think that another session of training is going to be very helpful. Not because it's difficult to work in Project Pulse. It's not. Believe me, it's not. Just because it has so many features, and you kind of want to, you know, learn it all.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get off of this meeting so you can send that email. And thank you all for joining, and thanks for your time, Irene.